Are we live, Jim? What's going on?
We are, but apparently Facebook is not being friendly today. So I just got a notification that Facebook is being strange. So I'm going to see while we're talking here if I can re-add Facebook and see if that will, because sometimes that's what happens. But we know we have friends watching on YouTube and also on LinkedIn, and you can even catch us on Twitter. I think maybe we're now working on Facebook, so we'll see. But you know how it's the gremlins, the Facebook gremlins, and that's okay.
They're everywhere.
Yes.
It's not just Facebook. Just today, it's Facebook.
Yes. Well, welcome everyone to another episode of the Tim and Jim Show. I am here literally in my backyard in the forest, hanging out with Social Media Solutions, and I'm so excited for today's topic and our guest. And Jim, my trusty co-host and friend, take it away.
Yes, thank you, Tim, and it's great to be here. And so Google My Business is so important. In fact, this is we're going to talk about how this can transform your bottom line, and very excited because I met our guest today, Amanda, in a group called the Global Tea Break, which is actually a group run by D. Scott Smith and Alan Hennessy. And what's funny is Alan is in Ireland and Scott is in Oregon. And they've brought together this global community where we meet once a month. It's the third Friday of the month at 10 a.m. Eastern. So if you're interested, check that out on LinkedIn or check out Alan or Scott. And that's how I got to meet Amanda. And as we get to know each other in this group, we find out like, wow, you do Google My Business. And, I've gotten to be on people's shows because of that. And I think Amanda as well, learning a lot from people in the group. And so when I saw that Amanda was a Google My Business expert, I said, you know what? With the show we do, this is always one of those topics that comes up occasionally that people are like, how do I get my business found? And so we're excited to have Amanda here. She's in York, Pennsylvania. So I don't know. I guess I've been through York because I think you like going from DC to Pittsburgh. I think you make like a right turn or something at York to get, maybe it's a left turn. I don't know.
I think it's left.
That's two of us in Pennsylvania today. Two of us in Pennsylvania.
Yes. So let us know if you're joining us live or even on replay where you're watching from. And if you have a business, are you on the map? And so, Amanda, tell us about yourself. We'd love to learn more about what you do with TDM Marketing.
Yeah. So TDM Marketing is my Google My Business agency, and we help small business owners to try to get into that top 3 on the local pack, because that's literally where you want to be if you're online. That's the best place to be because that's where your clients are searching. So we do optimizations, we do audits. So we do like a 15-minute audit of your listing to see where you are, where your competitors are, all of those things. And then we also do monthly management. So those are our 3 core services. And it just kind of depending on where you are in your Google My Business kind of journey, I guess you could call it, because everybody, like some people don't even know if they have it claimed yet. Like, do I have it claimed? Like, I think my SEO guy or whoever created my website, I think he might have did it like 5 years ago, but I'm not sure. I don't have access to it. How do I get access to it? Like, there's all these things that are just normal business owner Google My Business stuff. And I'm sure you experienced that, Jim.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Tim, are you ready to dive into this really interesting topic?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. And so question number 1.
So Amanda, what is Google My Business anyway, and why do businesses need to pay attention to it?
So Google My Business is the listings that you see. Like if you search coffee shop near me, there are little listings that come up on your phone. Yep. There you go. In the top 3. So you're going to see, whoever the top coffee shop Google thinks is at that moment in that area, and then the second one and the third one. So those listings can be edited by the business. And Google My Business was started by Google in 2014 in June, and they realized that they couldn't control all of the information and it wasn't accurate, and people, show up to a business and it's not necessarily open, and all of these things arose from them trying to control the information at first. So that's why they gave the business owners control of the listings. And it's just super powerful.
And I think one of the questions too is that people sometimes think, oh well, I can't be on Google My Business, or they don't understand that it's free. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've told people, if somebody calls you saying they're from Google and that you're gonna like lose your listing, it's like, just hang up, because Google doesn't call you, do they?
No, they never call you. I'm like, no, that's spam. Don't worry about it. I get that message probably at least once a week from someone. You probably do as well, because it's just, they sound authentic. I'm calling from Google, but Google doesn't have time for that, for sure.
Yeah. And Tim, do you have a Google My Business, don't you, for social media?
I do. I surely need to update it. It's been a while, but I do. And I have updated it in the past. And at one point I was even you can create posts in Google My Business also, right, Amanda?
Yes, definitely.
It's been a while, but yeah.
Yeah. And you were creating them, but you stopped creating them, or?
I did stop.
Okay.
I did.
Okay. We'll talk about that in a little while, I'm sure.
Yes.
Awesome. So to answer the second part of the question, which I didn't get to yet, businesses need to pay attention to it, because if you are in that top 3, you're going to be getting the calls. And people don't necessarily search on social media for whatever they need when they actually need a service or anything like that. They're going to go to Google and say, who's the best whatever near me? And Google is going to display what it thinks are the best results. And I'm going to tell you that is not accurate. If you look, there are things that come up on top that have no reviews. They've never been claimed. So that's why I think it's so important to let you know that you can get to the top. Because if those people are at the top and they're not doing anything with their listing, once you start giving Google the right signals, you're going to be able to get there. So,
yeah, and I think that that's something too that I don't think people always realize, that I've seen, is that I'm what's called a local guide, and I'm sure you do some of that as well, Amanda. Tim, you could become a local guide if you aren't already. I can add a business's location on the map. So these businesses that think they're going to hide, like, oh, I'm not going to get on Google. Well, anybody can add their business location to Google, and then people can start leaving reviews. So if you don't claim your business, to Amanda's point, people are still going to leave reviews about you, whether it's good or bad. But if you don't have it claimed, you're not going to be able to respond to maybe sometimes some bad things and even to some good things. And I think that's one of the things that people don't consider sometimes. So I think that's extremely important as well.
Yeah, that is a very, very good point. And there's a huge majority, well, not a majority, but there's about half of business owners don't have their listing claimed. And it's just out there. And another thing that can happen is someone else can go and claim your business, which sometimes happens as kind of like a predatory, practice. And then that's those phone calls that sometimes say that they're holding your business hostage. So, that's another thing that can happen. So if you're listening to this and you don't have it claimed, definitely claim it.
Right.
That's great advice. And we should thank everyone for tuning in. Senor Payasada is here. Hi, Senor. Ivan is here. Lisa Norella is here from Virginia. Hi, Lisa. It's great to see you here. Nancy Barrows is here. I know she's in Virginia, but will be heading back to her home state today. Thanks for being here, Nancy, Brian, and everyone who's here. Oh, Linda Ray and Trevor. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for being here.
Right.
We really appreciate you all being here. And let us know what questions you have for Amanda about Google My Business. I'm sure she'd be happy to answer them for you.
Yes. And so let's go to the next question, because I think this is where we'll really start to dive into some of this stuff. So, Amanda, what are the benefits of Google My Business, and do I have to have a storefront to use it?
So, the benefits of using Google My Business, there's many of them. Obviously, the number one is being at the top of Google. But it gives you what some people refer to as a knowledge panel. So, not really a knowledge panel. So Google has knowledge panels, which are for the big brands, but it gives you like your own little knowledge panel that you can control what's there. So you can have your website, your phone number, your appointment link. There's so many things that you can give to people that are searching. So then they're not going to have to go finding you. They're not going to have to even go to your website for all of the information that they need to make a decision whether to call you or not. It's really, really very helpful. And you can also, if you have a visual business, for example, a lot of service-based businesses like plumbers and, everyone like that, they can post pictures of their, finished products and construction and anything that's like a visual thing. I guess plumbing, probably you don't want to post pictures of like toilets and sinks and stuff, but maybe a different example would have been better, but you know what I mean. That's another reason. And then you can also give people information about what's going on in your business through the posts. There's events that you can post up there. There are offers. So if you have a special that you're running that month, you can post an offer. And those get a lot of traction. Jim and I were just talking about that before we started, about how much difference the traction is that you get, the exposure from events and offers versus just a regular post. So that's something that's really important as well.
Yeah. And I think so with some of these benefits too, that I think, goes back to, well, like I'm a service-based business, can I do it? Or I don't want people to see my address. I mean, is that and then probably even more important, I think we hadn't even hit on yet, is the reviews, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because reviews are what get you also, I think, help get you in the top 3.
Yes.
And I guess the question too, Amanda, I would have for you is, do you think that that people don't, you can actually do videos, right, as well on your page?
Yeah. So, okay, going back, let's answer the first one. So, service-based businesses. So, if you have a home office, like me, probably like both of you, you can have a Google My Business listing. So, all you have to do is you have to put in your address when you first, verify or start your listing. What is it called? Create your listing. And then once you create that listing, they're going to send you a postcard. You verify it. That's fine. But you don't have to put in your actual location address, or if you put it in, then you can just delete it once you verify it. So then that way it's not going to show up on any map. It's just going to show up in that general vicinity. So you're still going to be able to have that listing. You're still going to be able to have clients. They're still going to be able to contact you. You just don't have that location that they can visit.
Yeah.
And the second part was reviews. Reviews have become extremely important because not only are they important because of the public perception of your business, so from that reputation management standpoint, but they're now pulling all of the text from your reviews, and they're talking about whether you're professional, whether you're on time, whether, they actually put this little thing at the top and says this review mentions these things. So if you're looking for that kind of person, then this is,
Wow.
the right one for you. So not only your reviews, but your responses to your reviews. So if someone leaves you a generic review that says, Jim is great to work with, it was amazing, period, right? What you want to do is reply and say, oh, I'm so glad that you enjoyed your whatever that service was and that you got these results or whatever it was. So then that way you're still giving Google the right signals for that review, even though your client didn't. So
that's a great point. And you reminded me something too that I meant to bring up earlier in the power of Google. And this, like, doesn't matter about all these other social platforms. 92% of people start their search for the solution to their problem, and businesses are problem solvers on Google. So if you're not there, you're not even getting a chance to be a part of that person's solution. And I think that's the other thing that people don't think about. And I think to your point earlier, right? It's amazing that even at this, you want to call it day and age, that there's still, it's only about 50%ish that have claimed their business. And then you'll have a new business come in that hasn't done anything about it at all.
Yes, that's so true. And within that 50%, you have to also think about how many people are actually managing their business in the way that they need to, which it's pretty small percentage. I would say like most of them aren't. One thing that I think happens is they may have someone claim it for them. And then with that claiming, then they just kind of leave it there. It's just created and it just doesn't really need to do anything, but that's really not true.
Tim, what do you think? Have you really pushed some of your clients that, hey, you need to get on Google, or do you tend to find that when you first start working with them that they don't even think about it?
I've definitely seen a lot of especially local small businesses that they're not on it, or they had another social media consultant or something like that in the past set it up and they don't know how to access it again, that kind of situation. But I've definitely seen that a lot where either they don't even have a listing, they don't know they can have one, or they're kind of stuck, like they had somebody else handle it and then they're just not sure what to do.
Right. And so before we go to the break, I want to bring up this question from Linda and Trevor, and that is, we have a physical office, but they suspended our account due to no signage. Don't know if you don't use an address. We didn't have a sign, but the landlord installed at the same time when it was suspended. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so what you can do if you have the sign installed now is just request them for, to re-verify your business. And what they'll most likely do is go through a video audit. I actually had this happen with a couple of my clients where they actually get on a Google, what is the Google call called?
The
Google
Google
call.
Meet.
Meet. Google Meet. So the Google people will actually get on a Google Meet call for you on your phone, and you have to walk around and show them the sign. So that's what I would suggest. You can go ahead and just go to the support section of Google My Business and say, verification issues. And then I always just say no, like this is not solving my problem until I get to the chat or the call. So, yeah.
That's a great tip. Well, we're going to take a quick break to get a word from our sponsor, StreamYard, and then we will be back with a couple more questions for Amanda.
And we are back. We are back on the Tim and Jim Show with Amanda Tanto talking about Google My Business today. So thank you everyone who's here. Let us know what questions you have for Amanda. We just have a few minutes left in the show. But Jim, where do we go from here?
Next question, Tim, for you.
Yes, Amanda. So what are some of the features of Google My Business that can help transform our bottom line? Because that's what everybody's interested in, right?
The biggest thing that can transform it is getting into the top 3. So that's by far the thing that's going to really transform your business. I'll give you an example of a photographer that followed our method of posting and all of the things that we do in our business. So she started out on page 6 of the Google My Business results. So if you go to Google and you search for photographer near you, and then there's a little thing that says see more results. So you can click that. She was on page 6 of those results, and there's 20 listings on each page. So she was pretty buried. But within 6 weeks following the methods that we teach in TDM marketing, she was able to get to number 1. And she's remained at number one for, I think, let's see, that was in 2019. So I guess like 2 years now. So she's been in that number one spot for photography in her area. And by getting into that 6 week into that number one spot in that 6 weeks, it happened to be right before Christmas. And she increased her revenue for the end of the year by, I think, like $6,000 just from pictures with Santa, because she posted a pictures with Santa offer.
Wow.
And everybody was finding her first, and it just padded her year. So it can really quickly transform your business.
That's amazing. And do you think is part of that, because I know you can do some things, and I don't know if that's where like the posts and the offers, I mean, that's like adding a little bit of SEO, right? Because you're adding words that people will, trigger on. I do know that, like, if you look in the, if you want to call it the back end of your Google My Business, it'll actually tell you what were the words that people used to find you. And sometimes it's surprising to me, those words aren't what you would expect. Is that part of it?
Yes, exactly. So, one thing that I will say is, by the way, my neighbor has got a new Harley, so that's what that is. If you're hearing that, I keep muting
Harley's
myself.
near me.
Yeah, exactly. It's right outside my window, actually. So back to what were we?
Oh, the keywords.
The keywords, yeah. Okay, so what I always say is that the description, which is 750 characters, and the posts are a gift from Google, because you're literally putting information into the Google system. Like, you can submit your sitemap on your website, and that gets indexed, and all of your pages and all of your information on there go into Google. But you literally have an opportunity every single day, multiple times a day, to give Google the right information about your business and who you want to show up for. So what I do for all of my clients, even on an audit, is I will go and Google what I think that their ideal customer would be Googling. And we make sure that all of those terms are in their description. That's extremely important, because those signals right there are giving Google, exactly what they need to know what searches you should be showing up for.
Wow. Yeah. And another thing that I've always found interesting too, along with these features, is that, as an example, when it shows you your search results, it breaks it down into 3 categories. There's the people that were actually looking for your business by name or address, if you have an address. Then it has people that were looking for like a competitor. And then the others they were just searching for something. And what's crazy, and this is even people that get thousands of searches a month that I know, they are such a small piece of that pie. Most of it is people, like, they were just searching. Like, I was looking for, social media marketing near me, or, a digital and they just happen to find you because you did this stuff on Google My Business. And if you don't, then they're not going to find you. And I just have been shocked that even after time, it's still not, as much as we want to think, oh, people know my name or my address, they don't. They're searching much more, I guess, generically.
Yeah, I agree. It's very interesting, and you can find all that information under the insights panel, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim, what do you think your number one? Have you looked to see recently what your number one search term is?
I'll have to go look, because I know I've looked in the past, but I'll have to go look. Amanda, how important is Google My Business in terms of like there's SEO for like websites, right? Keywords and all content and all that kind of stuff. And there's Google My Business and other things as well. How important is Google My Business in the whole scheme of things, I would say?
I'm probably going to make some SEO people mad. But I used to do SEO, and like full on the whole, technical, on-site, off-site, all that good stuff. But I got a little tired of telling people that it was going to be about 6 months before we could see any traction. And so that's why I really switched my focus, especially in 2019 when they switched Google to the top, or the local pack to the top.
Yes.
That's when I really shifted my focus, because you can rank on Google without having a website. So that's something that should be noted, is that it's important to have a website, because that's, showing your professionalism and a place for your clients to go to either buy something from you, learn more about you, get more information. But I love that. Google is a game changer. Yes, it is. But having that Google My Business listing is going to get you traction on Google way quicker.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it's amazing. And so the final question, and if people watching live or on replay have some, please add. But what are some of the tips and tricks that you recommend for people that are just getting started, or maybe have neglected their Google My Business presence? I mean, I know, like you said, you do some audits. And what are some of your thoughts there, Amanda?
Yeah, definitely go through your listing and make sure you have a cover photo. Make sure you have a logo. Make sure that every single thing is scoured under your info section. So everything from your categories, your service areas, your description needs to take up all 750 characters using those keywords. There's just a lot that goes into that. And I call it optimization. And that's what we do. That's one of our services. But, making sure your profile is absolutely optimized and you have all of that information and you're giving Google not only the right signals, but the most accurate signals, including your hours. If you're going to be closed, maybe you go on vacation for a month every year or a week. Make sure you put that in there and note that you're going to be closed, because those kind of signals are important and they let Google know that this business cares about what people think and what people see and making sure that their listing is accurate. So we're probably going to show them closer to the top.
Wow, that's some good stuff, and I know they keep it. It's like they come out with new features, but they don't always announce them. Like I think recently, they've started to do it's like messaging where people can actually message you, and you can respond back without having to give away your phone number. I think in the app itself. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. On iPhone, Android, you can just download the My Business app and get messages directly. I think it's really, really helpful. I have some automotive clients that they get requests for quotes all day long, like literally all day long. Google My Business is one of their top tools in their business because people can just message you. Like a lot of people, some people may not want to call. They don't know what to ask. It's less personal, I guess, if you use that message feature rather than calling. And yeah, there's a certain social aspect, and I think there's a generational thing to that as well. But
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and they've even started. You can now. I don't know if it's always consistent, but you can follow businesses on Google My Business, and
yes.
so that I think I'm still waiting to see them do more with that, because I know when I was first trying to follow some businesses, I couldn't always find that feature. But it's kind of neat because, like, if you say want to follow like the local restaurants like that you like to go to, and you go into the app. Well, I think that's more the Google Maps app. But then it's like, oh, okay, maybe they've got a special, and I'm going to see all that stuff. So I guess it's kind of a way of like they're almost trying to recreate maybe Google Plus a teeny bit. But I do think that's a great feature for a business, because now if people follow you, you can actually put posts out there that they'll see. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. And it gives, you a connection to that client or consumer, whatever that relationship is, and allows them to really see what's going on, what's new in your business for sure. And I personally use that function probably a little bit more, because I will save, I have probably 10 different lists, like places to go, favorite or want to go, favorites, when we moved across the country in December, I literally made a moving, folder and put all of the hotels in there. And I put, all of the things, so you can organize it however you want, but it's a really nice feature.
Leo's got a question. How will Google's shift in deleting old feature maps like bookmarks affect businesses?
That is kind of what we're talking about now. I think if I'm understanding the question correctly, it seems like bookmarking would be like saving. I think if that's,
Right.
is that your understanding, Jim?
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of think that's where they're shifting. Where now you can follow a business, you can, and then like you brought up, organize these things the way you want. Like you said, love that idea of like places I want to go visit, or maybe places I visited, and then the other thing I would encourage people to do is if you work with a business or visit a business, leave a review because that is so important. It tends to be like people leave a review if they have a bad experience. Well, leave a review if you have a good experience because that's what's really going to help these businesses, and it doesn't cost anything. And you can even add pictures. I like to take pictures, and then what's funny as a Google Local Guide, if you take pictures and upload them, you'll like get a report. And I've been shocked how many views some of my photos have had on Google by uploading it to a business location. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. I think they tend to display the customer photos first because they're more kind of relevant to what a consumer would want to see, I think.
Yeah. And so, Amanda, you have actually something that we can share with our audience that if they want to get better, and I'm going to put it here on the screen and also put it in the chat. Let's see, where did I put it? Oh, here it is. And so you've got this this new thing going, right?
Yeah. So this is in kind of response to some of our customers. So we do Google My Business optimizations where we go through and, do everything that you need. So in response to the people that kind of want to learn how to do it themselves, we created this course. So it's a 21-day email course. You can actually learn a new lesson every day and work through that optimization and learn about why Google My Business is important and just go through the entire process yourself.
Wow. I'm going to have to do that. Tim, are you going to do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yes. We'll hold each other accountable and make sure we go through this.
We're good at
that. I think that's amazing. So Amanda, where is the best place for people to connect with you at?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn, and that is probably the best place to connect because I get my messages on my phone, and it's easier to connect there than say Facebook or Instagram or any of those places because those are not my favorite messaging places and all of those things. So if you have any questions, you can reach me on LinkedIn, and then you can also email me at amanda@tdm-marketing.com.
Awesome. And Tim, do you know who our guest is going to be next week?
I don't. Do you?
I do. It's one of our StreamYard friends in real life, Julie Riley from StreamYard. She runs their social media. So that'll be exciting to talk with Julie. And we'll actually get to see her in Lima, Ohio next month as well at Social Media Week Lima. So if you haven't got a ticket for that, you should go because Tim is talking. And that'll be exciting to see Tim talk. And so I'm looking forward to that. And I get to see my friend Tim for the third time in 3 years, right? So we're starting to average one time a year.
Yes.
So that's good. Yeah. Maybe you should come, Amanda, if you can get a ticket, if it's not too late. It's only in Ohio.
Be awesome. Yeah. When is it again? Well, I'll get the details from you.
Yes. It's a really, really great conference. Jessica Phillips does an amazing job with that.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
I would love to.
And we got Stefan has said that that was some great insight, and he looks forward to connecting with you. And Stefan is an amazing photographer as well as a live stream host of his own show. So make sure
and producer.
Check that out.
Yeah.
And
he actually has a show this Thursday at 7:00 on his Facebook page and on the Spin It Social YouTube channel. So make sure you check it out. He always has amazing guests who are photographers from around the world or some of the different visual aspects. So definitely
That's
check his show
awesome.
out.
Yeah.
Very cool. And folks, I'm going to put in a shameless plug for Ross Brand. Next week, he's releasing his new book. It's a 100 predictions by some digital marketers, and somehow my name got in there. So I guess I'm a chapter. I'm
Yay!
pretty excited about that. But Ross is amazing,
Congrats, Jim.
and we've had him on the show a couple times here as well. So congratulations to Ross, and yeah, so let us know, folks, if you've got more questions for Amanda. Don't forget to stick them in the chat, because even if you're watching here on replay, we want to help you get on the map, because if you're not on the map, I don't know what you're thinking at this point if you're in business. So
Yep.
thank you again, Amanda. This was awesome. Really enjoyed it, and look forward to, well, maybe we'll have to have you come back and we'll like dive deep into like one specific area, because there's just so much about Google My Business that people, don't even know. We literally just scratched the surface. So sign up for Amanda's 21-day email drip, and then after that, come back and ask more questions. And I think
Yes.
you'll increase your bottom line. So
Yep. And thank you so much for having me, Tim and Jim. I loved it.
Thank you, Amanda.
Yeah.
And we'll
appreciate it.
see you all next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Did you see what I did there, Tim?
I
Didn't even
did.
talk about sports. All right, everyone.
Pocket in
Take
there.
care. We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.